It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
Long before you were born, I see just where you will be. So listen to me now. The world's gonna tear you apart. You're not going to make it through another day. I'm gonna take you and swallow you alive. So listen to me. So listen to me now. So listen to me now. Listen to me. It doesn't have to be this way. What you're doing has a price to pay. And I know, been there before, long before.
The Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio. My oubliette and Bob Cajun. Empty chair waiting for my good friend Jim's return from holidays. Chin chin, Jim. Have my cup of coffee, fresh roasted. A new order of ethical blend. Trouble with ethical blend, I think, is not the coffee. The coffee's great, freshly ground. But the problem is the containers. They're not recyclable or reusable. So perhaps 2023 will see me, on behalf of the Jim and Terry Show, invest in a coffee roaster and order fresh green beans. And perhaps find a new, more economical way to store them, because green beans can be stored almost indefinitely, I'm thinking, much like bulbs are stored, just a cool, dry place. And I think they can be stored in a paper bag, reusable. I mean, we're going from plastic at the grocery stores to paper. I'm not sure how much of that paper bag is going to be recycled, so I'm kind of curious about this. But be that as it may, there we go, the Jim and Terry Show, aspirations for 2023, going green, green coffee beans, and a roaster for our delicate palate. This morning I came across an article in a website called 80,000hours.org. And 80,000 hours sounds like a random number. No, it's not random, very specific. So I had a question, why 80,000? And it's based on 40 years of an average career, productivity, employment, at 40 hours a week times 50 weeks in a year with 2 weeks off for holidays. Now, of course, that's a whole bunch of assumptions or presumptions in that, but given what it is, it's an organization to look at networking and making your career choices as efficient, as effective, as making you happy as possible. So it was interesting for me to explore 80,000hours.org. But one of the things that I was interested in, and why I started with this song, Listen to Me Now, is hypothetically someone at some greater age and stage giving advice to someone at a lesser age and stage about how to navigate things. And really, I did have in mind a program that I was familiar with back in the day, the 80s, I think, maybe even into the 90s. The program was called Scared Straight. You may recall it as a program that took kids who've committed small offenses, misdemeanors, and hooked them up with prisoners of more serious crimes who are willing to share their experience in the big house to visit prisons and criminals and confront their likely future if the kids did not change their evil ways. You've got to change your evil ways. Yeah, well, not as lighthearted as that. It turns out to be very dark. The series was very popular, and I'm interested in it because popularity seems to drive choices, and choices driven by algorithms to increase popularity, hits, likes, forwards, mentions, all that stuff that drives algorithms. I'm not sure if we are in some form selling ourselves to the devil in that pursuit. Be that as it may, I was intrigued to learn that although Scared Straight was used on TV and especially by arts and entertainment back in the day when arts and entertainment really was arts and entertainment and not like the history programs now that show anything but history, A&E that may show anything but arts and entertainment. We cater to a lower bottom line called ratings, and whatever drives the ratings drives the programming. Well, here, Scared Straight made a big impact. The trouble is that despite its widespread use and interest, both as information and as entertainment, Scared Straight, now with a few years and multiple official studies behind it, found that Scared Straight did not reduce crime, but actually increased crime. The effect, and I'm reading this from the 80,000hours.org site, the effect was so significant that Washington State Institute for Public Policy estimated that for each dollar spent on Scared Straight programs resulted in the loss of more than $200 worth of harm, social harm. I'm not sure how they measured that, so I would have to go and wade through this to see how social harm was actually measured. I'm going to segue from that into something else which was also on this 80,000 hours, which is why I stopped and paused here. What do you think are the most pressing global problems? Could you rank them? If I said, well, 80,000 hours has a list of 8, would yours appear on this 8? Not a lot of mine were, but here is their list. And it's open for discussion, so you can write into the Jim and Terry Show to give me your list or send in some suggestions. Number 1, risks from AI. The development of AI is likely to influence the course that we take as a society, perhaps even impacting our jobs. The 80,000hours.org believes that if it goes badly, it could be an existential threat to humanity. It's number 1. Wow. I'm just going to go through these things and expose you to the list. You can check them out at 80,000hours.org. Number 2, catastrophic pandemics. Well, having just gone through a catastrophic one, what is the chance that this stuff originated in a lab? Well, catastrophic release by any means, lab or nature, is a big problem. Number 3, building effective altruism. Altruism, concern about others, connecting with others who are concerned about others too. How do we build that? Or is it being destroyed by selfishness, individualism, anarchy, chaos, survivalism, survival of the fittest, some kind of Darwinian approach to life? Number 4, global priorities research. This is interesting because we want to expand our research, and we want to make the efforts to do good, to do more effective good. So we need some policy research. Yeah, if we don't get it done, what will happen? I'm not sure. Nuclear wars, down at number 5. I would have put that way higher given the Russian war against Ukraine. Number 6, institutional decision-making. We are ineffective, apparently, and I'd have to read the article, so I'm just giving you the title and synopsis. Ineffective at decision-making at governmental levels, at institutional levels, so that change is not possible or not easily done. How do we go about altering that? Number 7, climate change. Well, that seemed to be obvious. I would have put that up near the top. And 8, the great power conflict, wars. We have one against Ukraine, and it's going on, and it breaks my heart that this is happening. 8 things from 80,000hours.org on The Jim and Terry Show.